Well, hello everyone and welcome to another very exciting episode here on the MIgardener channel. I'm so pumped up for today's episode. It's going to be a bonus one for you all. We just got outside, we were out in the sun, and not pertaining to this episode, but great news is we had our first sunny day in almost 24 days. We set the longest record in history for the longest, for most cloudy days. And I will tell you, it was so nice to get outside and walk in the sun. It was so bright, I almost couldn't even look forward where I was walking, but you know what? I'm not going to complain. When I saw the sun when I woke up this morning, I said, we are getting out and enjoying the sun. So it was just great for the motivation. I mean, I've seen a lot of people in the comments comment and say, you know, Luke, where's your energy at? Where's your energy been at? Well, my energy has just been so drained because I'm someone that I find energy from, the weather has a big effect on my energy levels. My surroundings, whether it's people and the people I surround myself with or the weather that's surrounding me, I'm very much influenced by that. So if I surround myself with excited people and the weather is bright, boy, you better step back because I'm I'm wired and ready to go. So man, it's just been great to see the sun because it just fired me up again and got me motivated. So what I want to talk today about was brought to my attention from the live stream that we did. Now, the live stream was a very fun thing. I really enjoyed doing it, and we'll be doing a lot more of them, as well as a lot more of these style videos as well. Kind of the edited, planned and just kind of scheduled episodes. So we'll be doing a lot more of these as well to really just kind of combine the best of both worlds and hopefully provide the most amazing information to get you excited to garden and get your garden up and growing for the 2017 season. So what today's episode is about, though, is my top 3 plants to grow indoors and why. Now, this was again brought up in a question that I did not get to answer. So for the person that answered it, or for the person that asked it, thank you, because it allowed me to read over it this morning and say, you know what, that's a good episode to talk about, because I think in a lot of different ways there can be two types of gardener. You can be a hobby gardener growing for just kind of pleasure and just kind of keeping your mind occupied through the winter. And then there can be the necessity gardener that grows for necessity, to put food on the table. And I used to be a hobby gardener. I would grow things just for the fun of it. And don't get me wrong, I'm having a blast growing these plants. But the purpose of my selection of plants is definitely more out of necessity. We're looking to put food on the table, put fresh, healthy, nutritious food on the table that's 100% organic, even when we can't be growing our garden outdoors. So this is very much a necessity for us. Obviously, we're still supplementing from the store, but what I'm trying to drive home is the fact that the purpose of the plants that I've chosen and the purpose of the garden is to supply food. Now, there's a lot of different plants out there, and a lot of people say, what are the best plants to grow indoors? Let me first off by saying, if you don't know what you're really gardening for, whether it's necessity or pleasure, it's going to make it very difficult to pick the plants that you want to grow. So the plants that I've chosen are what I like to call high productivity, low energy requirement plants. And that's the golden ticket to having a successful indoor garden if you're growing for necessity. If you're growing for pleasure, or you're growing for a hobby, absolutely try just about anything. I know Callie Kim over at the Callie Kim Garden Home channel, she's growing cucumbers and tomatoes. It's a wonderful, wonderful video series that she's got going on about gardening indoors. But I would consider that more along the lines of, and Kim, if you're watching, you can totally chime in down below and let me know if I'm wrong. But I think it's a lot more of the gardening for fun, just kind of pushing the limits, seeing what you can do. And I'll break down the reason why. Plants that are like tomatoes and cucumbers, they are high productivity but high energy requirement. So if I'm drawing a grid, hold on one second. So if I'm looking at a chart here of productivity and energy, you want to see where your plants lie on this chart, because this will very much dictate what you decide to plant. So if you are even looking at a garden space outdoors, this will also help you. So this can very much apply to both. If you're growing something like radishes, radishes are low productivity and low energy because you plant one seed, you get one radish, and they require very little energy. So this would be radish. However, if you are growing something, let's say high productivity, low energy, that's where I like to be, is in this square here. High productivity, low energy. We'll come back to this square because this is the sweet spot. Another thing is high productivity, high energy. These are things like tomatoes or cucumbers. Tomatoes and cucumbers require a lot of energy to put out fruit, and they are very productive when they do put out fruit. So assuming that you have both you have a lot of energy, you will have high productivity. If you're growing indoors, you don't have a lot of energy, and so your plants might put out one large tomato, but that's all you're going to get for the season. Now, another thing is high productivity. This is low productivity, high energy. These are things like spinach. Spinach is, I would consider, lower productive because the amount of leaves that it puts out allowing you to eat is relatively low to the amount of energy that it consumes. So you can see that there are plants that fall everywhere in here. Another thing that you can look at in terms of your productivity versus energy is the square here that we've not yet touched on, and that is my sweet spot. That is things like lettuce. Lettuce is very productive for relatively low energy. Herbs, all your herbs are wonderful. Herbs are, I'm gonna drive that point home till I'm blue in the face. Herbs are your most productive and low energy plants, meaning you can use most of your space to grow herbs. Now we are not, because we've dried a lot of our herbs over the past growing season, but lettuce, herbs, and beans. Now a lot of people don't know this, but beans do not require that much energy to put out the fruit that they put out. So you can get a lot of productivity for very little energy. And that is why I consider this to be the gardening for necessity indoors sweet spot. If you're growing for hobby, any of these will be appropriate, but just know that it will certainly dictate how much fruit is produced, how much it's worth your while. So things like radishes, and if you're looking at even energy cost, the cost of electricity would be your energy. So the cost of electricity, if you want to pay for itself, it's best to be over here, and it's not good to be down here because you're not getting enough production for the energy that you're putting in. So it's very, very important to use this and find out where your stuff lies. So there you go. Hopefully that better explained why I chose the plants that I chose for my bed. And again, I do want to point out that I am growing things that I would not recommend for my type of gardening. Now, that's for the purpose of showing you all what's possible. I do not want to look over that fact that I do in fact have radishes and carrots and beets in the back corner over there. And again, my reason for doing that is to show you all what's possible in an indoor grow system, because we are growing for mostly necessity, but I also do want to show you what's possible. And for those that are interested in growing that kind of stuff, I want to show you that it is possible in an indoor grow system. So it's definitely for necessity, but I also want to point out the fact that I'm having fun doing this. I get asked all the time, is it worth it? Does it cover the cost of the lights and stuff? And to be honest, I don't know. We did it a couple years back with hydroponics, and it was almost worth it, but still, it was not as economically viable as I would have hoped. But as I looked more further into it, I decided to also enlighten or bring to light the fact that I'm getting a lot of enjoyment out of this bed, and the value of enjoyment is whatever you put the price tag on. So it might cost, let's say, $300 a year to run this bed, and I don't even know the exact numbers. I'm just throwing out some numbers. So it might cost $300, but if you find $300 worth of enjoyment out of it, no one can blame you. No one can blame you because only you know what you enjoy and the value that it brings. So for me, this is absolutely worth it, and I don't necessarily look at the cost as much because I'm getting fresh food for my family. I am definitely getting productivity, and I'm also getting a lot of enjoyment. I love coming down here and checking out the growth, and that to me is fun. That to me is just it's meditative when I come down here and just kind of I'm with the plants, working with the plants, harvesting the plants, and so that to me is worth so much, especially when there's winter conditions outside and I can't even begin to garden outside. So hopefully you all enjoyed. Hopefully you'll learn something new. Definitely, I recommend. Oh, before you go. Before I let you go, post in the comments box below the type of gardener that you are and plants that you enjoy growing. And also, let me know if this type of video helped you. I really think that the chart was very visibly, it was visibly, I guess, helpful with knowing kind of where your plants lie. And again, if you have any questions on plants, let me know in the comments box below if you need any help. I'd be glad to help you kind of pinpoint where they go on that chart, because they will all go somewhere. There is not a single plant out there that will not land somewhere in those 4 quadrants. So yeah, there's that. But then also, I really do hope that you're checking us out on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. We're out there to give information in different ways, and those are mediums that we can reach you using different forms of information that I think you will find very valuable. So make sure to check us out over there. Also, please do check out MIgardener.com. We have a blog, we have a store with over 300 varieties of heirloom, organic, and non-GMO seeds for just 99 cents a pack. So I definitely think it's valuable also for you to go check out that, because it's going to save you a lot of money, and you might just find some stuff you didn't expect to see over there. So I will catch you all later on the next episode. This is Luke from the MIgardener channel reminding you to grow big or go home, and we'll catch you later. See ya. Bye.